Suciotalk, episode 29. 29 episodes since November. I'm sitting here with my main man, QuHarrison Terry. All right, did I say that right? All right.
Sir,
how you doing?
I've been good, man. I've been good.
Cool. Nice to see you. You just got out of a Japanese class, language class?
Hi. So this.
All right. There you go. What does that mean?
So that says yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. How long you been taking that class?
Honestly, I started Japanese in 2021, but I went to Japan for the first time in 2018, and I've just been going back ever since.
Yeah.
And so I just go to Japan, and the pandemic happened, and I started to say, like, hey, maybe I should learn the language. And then January rolled around. I was like, all right, I've been, just messing around. Let me just sit down. Enrolled in a couple classes, figured out which one I liked, and then just started learning it on my own.
Yeah.
It's a heavy language. It's not something you just jump into. You got to just do a little bit day over day, and like no matter what I'm doing, I'll just take that pause, break 30 minutes to an hour, and just get the lesson in.
Got you.
And it's working. Like it's one of those things where on day 0, I knew nothing, and we're probably about, I would say, just about to cross 100 days of just consistent grinding, and it's crazy. I can read, almost 100 different kanji. Which is crazy.
Well, man.
Yeah,
well,
so
fucking congratulations.
Right, speak it a little bit.
Yeah, I hear you.
And eventually, and the goal here is when I go back to Japan, either later this year or next year, I want to be able to like experience the culture in a different way, because I've always been there as a foreigner, or as they would say, a gaijin.
Oh, got you.
They'd be like gaijin.
They got a name for that. All right.
So they'll be like, it's a gaijin, and like you're just there, and a black American, so I don't get the true American treatment, which is good, because it's like they don't know where you're from. You could be from like the Caribbean.
Got you. Okay.
You can be from the UK. So they treat you a little differently over there, which is dope, right? Because it's like, you're seeing life from a different lens just through that angle. Just being in Asia and in the East anyway. But man, it's Tokyo is no place in the world like it, and I love it.
Damn.
So that's what I'm doing out there.
All right, word up, man. Do you just or is it fun when you're out there, or are you doing business as well?
So
are you kind of always working?
Nah, I usually go for fun. The first time I went in 2018, I went on a business trip, and I was there for about a month.
Got you.
And I was just like, wow, like I could rock with this. Now, would I move to Japan full time? Probably not. There's a lot of things that are different about Japan that we have in the U.S.
Yeah.
Mainly like the communication, right? Like when I go to Tokyo, no one speaks English. Like if I speak 40 English words in one day, that's a lot. Yeah. Like seriously.
I see.
I've probably spoken 40 English words in the last two minutes. Because you go over there and it's like, you ever been like in the South and like you meet some people and be like, yeah, I speak Spanish.
Yeah.
And then they be like, they know like 4 fucking words.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I got you. The kitchen Spanish.
Can you cuss?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Okay, all right,
this Sucio talk, baby. Dirty talk.
I don't want to. You don't want to
offend anybody. Actually, Tyler got in trouble. He did the first episode with me, and his family was like, "You're swearing way too much, bro."
Dang.
But that's all good.
Shout out to Tyler's family.
They
keeping him in check. It means he's got family that cares about him.
That's right.
But you get out here like they're like, yeah, I speak Spanish. Hola, ¿cómo estás? And then they don't know any Spanish, know nothing after that, right? And you're like, all right, that's how English is over there. So you go over there and they're like, yeah, we speak English. And they're like, hi, hello. Yeah. And you're like, oh, they only know hello.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's it.
And that's it. And then you'll be like, fuck. And you're like, so you're just trying to like figure it out, and you just stop, because it's like after the 5th or 6th time of doing that, you already know it's a dead end, and so you don't even engage. You just act like you don't speak English.
Yeah. So at that point, is it just hand gestures? Is it just like motioning? And
honestly, nonverbal communication. You'd be surprised how much you do on a daily basis, and then when you're forced to figure it out, to eat, learn, read, go places. I mean, hand gestures, nodding your head. Your tone. So even though I might say something, if I say something and like look confused or puzzled or point, you're gonna understand some of that. And even if 60 to 70% just comes through, usually people can help you out. But it gets tricky. It's troubling. Like, I would never want to go to the hospital if I couldn't speak Japanese. Because you'd be like...
You'd be motioning. My leg!
Yeah. They'd be like, what about your leg? And that would be horrible.
There you go. So, that's what you're doing now. But we're going to take it all the way back to when you were a niño. Where'd you grow up?
So, it's a great question, man. I grew up, I would say, all over the world. But really, in between... Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Madison, Wisconsin. Like, those were two like cornerstone places that I really just spent a ton of time in.
Gotcha.
But then beyond that, I mean, traveled a ton. Like, my parents, they divorced at an early age, and so I got a chance to see a lot of the world through my dad.
Gotcha. What did he do?
He's a developer. And,
okay.
And that was like commercial real estate. So that projects took him all over.
Yeah.
But I also just grew a strong affinity to the West Coast, right? So spent a lot of time in California.
Yeah. And
just got like this Midwest Cali vibe. And,
and
that's just kind of my style.
There you go. So when you were coming back to where you're from, from the traveling, how did that do with your friends, with people at school? Did you...
I think it just widened my perspective, right?
Gotcha.
I was able to maintain my friend groups, which was cool, right?
Okay,
oftentimes you're right. Like you have these,
you leave and you come
groups,
back and you're like, what's everyone here doing?
People are like, who's that dude?
Yeah.
No, I was a weirdo kid. Like, I was like the nerd, right?
Yeah.
I was in the corner, just doing some nerd shit. So like playing Pokemon and all that. But I was cool. Because, like, I was, like, a nerd, so, like, I could get down and we could talk about, Charizard and Pikachu.
Yeah.
But then I'd flip around and, like, I could still hang with the cool kids.
Yeah.
Like, at least in high school.
You can still get some chicks.
Yeah, of course.
He's like, no question.
You gotta at least hold thumb down.
That's right. That's right.
Shout out to the ladies.
That's right. Shout out to the felines. So, what did your mom do?
My mom,
she
stayed at home for a good part, and then she didn't go back to work until we were older. So
Got you.
Like early days, mom's was a hustler. She sold Mary Kay for a good minute.
Cool.
And that was cool. She got all the cars, and
my aunt sold Avon.
Yeah. So you already know the lifestyle.
Oh yeah, man.
They're hustling, like,
knocking that door.
Yeah, it was
package this shit up for me. You're like, what? What is this?
The making the basket, and
that's right.
Taking it to people, holidays, all that.
Mom's for men.
Mom's was heavy. So that was tight
for sure. And then you said so you had brothers, sisters?
Yeah, it's three of us. So it's me. I'm the oldest, and then I got a brother and a sister. So,
gotcha. What do they do?
My sister works in the healthcare space, and my brother, he's still trying to figure it out. So he's just turned 18, so he's figuring
hey man, everybody on their own road, know.
Exactly,
fuck
man.
It.
Everybody's got to figure out where the kitchen is.
Yeah, that's right.
And everybody's kitchen is different.
Did you have any passions early on?
Yeah, man. So early on, I've always been into technology, so that's always helped me out a ton.
Gotcha.
I've always like kind of had an affinity for what's coming, and that's taking like be like, okay, like let me get a blog when I was super young, so you got a chance to learn WordPress, right?
Yeah.
What's this Photoshop thing? So I'm tinkering in that, and so I've always just been like learning constantly. So I did that when I was super young, and then like coming around, got into computers, started programming, did a lot of little computer programming stuff.
Yeah,
like
was this in school or like a job?
Nah, like this was just like I was going to school, but like on the side, like I just had like side hustles.
All right.
Just making websites, charging people, and at the time, like it's like free, like you're getting paid to learn. Right?
Yeah,
because it's like one of those things where I'm only like 13, 14, so I'm making stuff for people, charging them. A couple $100 here and there, and it was great pocket money, but I was able to build some tangible skills doing that.
How did making a website back in those days, what year was it?
So that would have been like 2010.
Okay, got you. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking over here it's like 2001.
No. Like I think I made my first website in 05, 06.
05, 06, got you.
06.
What was the...
So that's like when I say made my first website, that's not using like Yahoo GeoCities or like a template, that's just me like, going out and trying to make something from scratch.
And how does that happen from scratch? How do you make a website from scratch in 06?
It's a lot of ways. Back then, man, it was like HTML and a blog. Like you just do CSS and HTML. Like there wasn't a lot of the things that we use today didn't really exist.
Like Squarespace.
Like none of that
should make it easy.
Yeah, none of those graphical user interfaces
to
make a website. Nah, they ain't had that. They had Wizzy, so they had this thing called a WYSIWYG, which is what you see is what you get. And so you could like drag an image into a text box, and then the image would look like exactly how you formatted it in the text box on the website.
Okay.
Kind of think like a Microsoft Word doc.
Yeah.
They had those back then, but beyond that, it was no Wix or Squarespace. Or, I think Squarespace came in like 2012, 2010, somewhere around there.
What was your first job for money?
I did a lot of things, man. First job, I think I worked in a library. I did a little bit of caddying.
Okay.
I was just a hustler, bro.
Yeah. Just making money here and there. You knew.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah.
I was just
were you stacking it? Or were you kind of buying new shoes?
No, you know what's funny? I was buying like tech, so I spent a lot of money on like gadgets, like computers.
Gotcha. Do you still have all that stuff now?
I have the latest. Like that was the old stuff. So I usually sell it and then just get the new stuff.
Okay. See, me, I'm like a hoarder. I tend to keep all my old computers and to
I let them go.
Yeah.
Like, if like it's like I have enough friends too where like they're like, oh, I need a computer, and I'm like, all right, here, you can get this for, and I usually sell it to like people I know. Like I'm not trying to like price it out. So I usually sell a lot of the gear I have under price. Like I just let the iPad. I had the iPad Pro for the new one. I had that and I didn't really like it, so I sold it for $550. But like it came with the keyboard and all the stuff with it and the pen, and it's like a good deal, right? But it was like if you see somebody and they're hustling, they're trying to get on their craft, and like I think it's the craziest thing when you see people set back by the price of electronics. Like,
that's right.
I have this crazy vision. I'm an artist, but I got to spend $600-$700 just to enter the game, to get started. I think that's silly, but I mean, what can you do other than try to help people? Maybe
there should be a library for renting gadgets.
That would be sick. But then I think also sometimes like even then it would be weird because I think in order to build true fluency, you do kind of need to own it. It's kind of like a book, right?
Like when
you have like the tattered pages of a book, you spend some time with that book. It's been through some shit with you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's similar to tech. I think that like the more you have a device, the more fluid you are with it, the more comfortable you become. And over time, the relationship between you and the device, it allows you to just be more capable, right? Like so fluid. You're like, I have this idea, you're fluid. You're like saying like, yo, like, okay, I want to make this, and like you just grab the pen, pencil, whatever, get on the keyboard, do it. You're probably the same way in the kitchen. Like once you get in the kitchen and you spent real time in the kitchen, you know where everything's at. You know how to bring the dishes together, and it's like where to set things, and it's in the perfect vicinity for like getting it from the bowl to the plate to the stove to the oven, all that. Like
it's true, and then it goes. So there's this like theory that I have that you work at restaurants for a good 2 years, and that's how you get to know that restaurant and become better.
2 years?
Yeah, because I think there's a lot of people that, at least, then there's a lot of people that go staging or work at places for 6 months. It's like you ain't getting nothing there for 6 months. Kind of like keeping that technology. You got to stay there.
Exactly.
Become a manager. Like see everything,
I would say like right now we're in a very interesting space for technology. So for the last like I would say 20 years, it's been about platforms. It's been a platform war, right? What I mean by that is for like 20 years ago it was Mac or a PC. It was like do you got a Windows machine? You're compatible with this software. Do you have a Macintosh computer and Apple hardware? Then it's only compatible with this software. The internet came and changed a lot of that. Like when we got the browsers like Chrome and Safari and Firefox, when browsers became much more staples in our everyday lives, and we started to just access everything through the browser, from like Google Docs to Facebook to news, all that stuff just been in the browser, you started to decouple yourself from the platform, like of iOS. I mean, of Windows and Apple, but we ended up getting onto new platforms. That was iOS and Android. We're finally getting away to a point where like platform doesn't matter as much. You're recording this on a Chromebook. That's crazy, bro. It's a browser.
That's right.
The browser is now like a platform for you to create content on, right? Like
the internet is now a thing.
Exactly. And so we're in this interesting space right now where it's no longer about necessarily the hardware said platform. Everything is kind of interoperable. So if you have an idea and you want to cook on